the Samaritan woman, we're told a few key pieces of information. And first of all, does anybody know why the Samaritans were a hated people and looked down upon as dogs? Does anybody know?
They were like half-breeds, or they were mixed with other people who weren't Jews.
Exactly. Joe's right. It's because of the mixed breeding, for lack of a better term. These were people that were half Jew, half Gentile, and the prophets had sternly warned Israel not to marry into the people in the land that God was bringing them to. Why? Because God is, somehow has racial preferences? No, absolutely not. Is it because, of any kind of just, weirdness other than the fact that he's trying to preserve and protect something? No. The idea was in the marrying of these people, it wasn't the blood, it wasn't the people themselves, it was the customs. They knew that if the Jewish men or women would intermarry, that inevitably their pure, unadulterated, unwavering belief and teachings that came from Torah, handed down at Sinai, would get watered down. And not just watered down, but would lead to idolatry and all kinds of pagan practices. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite stories early on when I met Rabbi Cliff and started, working towards learning and starting to do, I don't know if we had started doing home meetings yet or we were working towards that, but I was just so excited to meet him, and I kind of went nuts, and I read the entire Torah in a fairly short period of time. I just devoured it. And then I called him, "What now?" Only I couldn't actually ask him because he didn't answer his phone. I left him a voicemail, and I just sat there and I was praying, God, what should I do? What should I do? And all I heard, it was a still small voice, like a voice from speaking from behind, as Scripture kind of indicates what that's like. I just hear Isaiah chapter 1, and at that time I had no clue what was in Isaiah chapter 1. So I eagerly went and opened up the Bible and went to Isaiah chapter 1. And I was shocked, because all the way through, I'm hearing things, and I'm going to really butcher this with terrible paraphrase, but over and over we hear God. It's God speaking through the prophet Isaiah. Over and over he's saying, your new moons, your festivals, your feast days are an abomination to me. Your incense is disgusting in my nose. Does the Lord your God take pleasure in the blood of goats and bulls, and et cetera, et cetera? And I just sat back. I think it was the first 16 or 17 verses I read it. I just sat back and I'm like, what in the world? I thought there's no contradictions in the world, in the Word. There's plenty in the world, but none in the Word. I had just read the Torah, where God is, commanding, observances of new moons and blood sacrifice of goats and bulls and burning of incense. He's commanded all these things. Like, God, what are you talking about? And I just heard him say, read it again. And I did, and this time, one word over and over jumped out at me. Y-O-U-R. Your new moons, your incense, your festivals, your blood sacrifices. These, in other words, these were words that were spoken through the prophet to the Jews who had done just what we're talking about, that resulted in, no less than these Samaritans being of mixed breed and this angst, this division. They were doing the things that God told them to do. They were just doing them, the way the pagan practices kind of happened. Oh, well, you know what? We can observe the Sabbath, but we do it on this day of the week. Oh, we can observe the new moon, but we do it this way. So the ultimate lesson there, this is kind of a side, it wasn't something I planned on talking about, but is that the right thing done in the wrong way is the wrong thing.